Welcome to the Tea of Interest with Rafi Starr. Free thinkers, welcome again to the Tea of Interest. I missed you during the holidays. Welcome back. Today we will be discussing weapons, so stay tuned. Hey guys, I have a small presentation here for you. I hope you enjoy it. In this new age of instant information, technological advancements, and weapons research, we have learned a lot more about deadly weapons than ever in our history. It is time we understand these powerful tools once and for all. Many of us don't have the weapons, while there is a great number of people who own weapons, and there is a good percentage of those people that own them and are very skilled at using them. Whether it's range weapons or close melee combat weapons, there is a vast number of different arms to use. Most common today are handguns. Easy to conceal, easy to carry, dismantle to clean, and even easier to use compared to a submachine gun or semi-automatic rifles. Shotguns are easy to use, but very hard to conceal. There are also close combat weapons like sharp knives, swords, and axes. Knives are easy to carry and conceal, but axes and swords can be difficult to carry or wield. The point is, everyone chooses their weapon of choice. Anything at the end of the day can be turned into a weapon. The first blunt weapon humans held were stones. Easy to grab and carry, easy to throw, and as long as you had precision, you could hit your target and do some serious damage. The first spears were made out of wood, with sharp stones attached. The club was a wood with a blunt stone wrapped around it. The introduction of rope and leather created our first range weapons, whips, slingshots, and our second range weapons, longbows and hunting bows. This was our first breakthrough in hunting and combat history. The invention of steel and the perfection of blacksmithing was one of the next major breakthroughs in combat history. Swords, axes, warhammers, polearms, and shields. Weapons would vary in size and effectiveness depending on who wielded them. It would be a long time of combat and wars before our next breakthrough in deadly arms. But then gunpowder was discovered. The earliest gunpowder weapons in history were discovered in China during the 10th century. And don't think it was muskets or cannons. It was the invention of piston syringes or mini balls of flame. However, the first time gunpowder was used was in 1262 when King Alfonso X set siege on the city of Niebla in the Iberian Peninsula. After that, the research of gunpowder would ever increase and give birth to deadly attempts to use such weapons. The gunpowder-based system was dangerous for the user. Example of a death by user involved the death of King James II of Scotland. He had a hand cannon called the Lion. Gunpowder exploded on his face as a result of a clogged chamber. The first ever hand cannon was known as the culverin, and it was introduced in the 14th century. Another great example of exploding gunpowder was the invention of landmines in 1277. It was the use of hollow cast iron balls that were filled with gunpowder. They were placed under the enemy gates or no trespassing zones to deter enemy advance. Siege weapons became very prominent during castle takeovers and destruction of stone walls. The fire cart was invented in the 15th century by the Chinese engineers. They called it fire cart because it had multiple fire lances on a gunpowder-based system crafted from all components of mechanical catapults. This finally led to the creation of actual rockets that could be ignited via fuses and then launch autonomously. This would lead the way to today's modern rockets. My friends, what we have learned through the history of war is that weapon evolution is caused by the constant use of those weapons in the battlefield. Without war, there is no technological advance of weapons. Throughout the last century, we have found out more about weapons than we ever had. Today's weapons are the most advanced, precise, and deadly installments of battlefield weaponry. The next wars will give birth to the future generation of advanced weapons. We can only imagine and research how our defenses and strategies will adapt to the unknown. So, as deadly as weapons are, they are necessary even today, with the increasing threat of world war, with the possibility of civil unrest. We cannot be free or safe without the protection of firearms. We have to learn how firearms work and how to maintain them to be able to protect ourselves and the ones we love. I am suggesting that if you are able to train yourself in the use of firearms, then it is imperative that you do. There is no excuse. Weapons have been around for many centuries, so it is time to take up arms and contribute to the evolution of future weaponry, as for one of these days we will need them. So you have to know the basics about gun ownership and self-defense. You have to be a part of the war collective in order to survive the next battle. If you don't have weapons, you will not be able to defend yourself and your family. If you think you're a survivor and that you will make it in the new age without guns, you are very mistaken. Do not let the fear of guns hinder your chances to become a sharpshooter, a protector, a defender of freedom, and most important, a human component to our evolution. Hey, I hope you all enjoy that. So, guys, like and subscribe, share it with all. Until next time, we love you, tea drinkers, free thinkers.